New game.
Gum.
New game. Oh, that's spoilers. Spoilers here. Okay,
Combat.
so I'm going to play on normal difficulty
Look.
because I can play shooters.
Okay, no. If it is a story game, then I definitely believe in the whole idea of play it on recruit and then play it on what you want to play it on.
See, but I feel like the challenge adds to the story sometimes.
Well, yeah, but sometimes it's nice to get the story and then go in and play the challenge.
But do they have to be separate? I don't think they have to be separate.
I mean, I can't say much because for my Modern Warfare 2 campaign, I did them both the same on veteran.
Was it the last of
Yeah,
them?
and that's like ultra hard. So you had extreme challenge.
Yeah, no, I
Hold
pushed
on.
myself.
I'm just gonna turn that game down because
Yeah,
Jesus
no,
Christ.
it got to the area that you said not to let it to immediately.
Well, because miniguns are loud.
Okay, miniguns might. That helicopter just gone.
Yeah, and no, it's usually that happens to people when you shoot them, Jared.
Okay, but it didn't look like you shot them. It just looked like they went down.
I think I shot them before I paused.
I don't think you did. That's the problem.
Also, this is a scripted helicopter opening sequence that every shooter has.
So if you just didn't shoot at the helicopters, would they still go down?
See, now I'm curious. Or will they just fly away? They'll probably just fly away. That one just flew away.
Oh, that girl's face is really gross.
That's just rude. Did you say her face was really gross?
I just saw dirt everywhere.
That's just mean. Just because the billboard got covered in dust and everything doesn't mean that the girl's face is gross. I don't see why, like... Why is the first thing your brain goes to, she's gross, she nasty, she has dust on her face?
I literally saw dirt on her nose, and my mind just went, ew, gross.
Jared will judge you if you have black heads on your nose.
If there is straight dirt that I can see, I will judge.
Maybe she's a single mother working to support her children in a mine, and you're judging her for her looks, even though she's just trying to work a minimum wage job to feed her children?
If you're working minimum wage in a mine, there are other problems you have.
Maybe it's the 1800s, Jared. You don't know her situation.
You think they had a wage back then?
Yes! There was usually a wage involved, even if the wage just included meals. Although at that point, that's kind of slavery, so I get what you're talking about.
Who was the guy that straight up made his own city for his workers?
That's a lot of people. Like not most, but a lot of places during economic, like, shutdowns, basically, they would just, if the person was rich enough, make an encampment and put all their workers in there, and you get paid in, store credit at the store that they own. So they can overprice everything and you can't do shit about it.
Well, no, I remember, like, whenever we were learning about, like, Rockefeller and whoever the other guy was in school, there was another
Steel
one.
Man.
Yeah, there was another one we learned about who was alive at the same time as them, who just straight up made his own city, and all of his workers just got everything paid for them.
I wouldn't be surprised. That sounds like something that happened. If you're rich enough and it benefits you, you might as well.
Now I'm just imagining Bill Gates being like, hey, I'm opening my own country.
Couldn't he? I don't know if Bill Gates could. But
I genuinely think he might be able to.
No, wasn't what's Amazon man?
Jeff Bezos.
Didn't Jeff Bezos try to buy a country?
I think he did.
Did he buy it?
I have no idea.
I don't think he ever bought the country, but didn't he put a bid out on like some small country?
I think. I know Mr. Beast bought an island recently.
Yeah, but that's not a country.
It's still an island.
Wasn't there a guy that like bought an old abandoned like oil rig and called it a country?
That's just badass. That's a power move.
Yeah, but I think it literally got invaded by pirates. And then like everything got stolen from it, and it was like one of the least lasting countries.
Oh.
You know, it didn't go well. It turns out when you don't have an army, your country's hard to defend.
Well, I mean, he also didn't have any natural resources if it was an oil rig.
I want you to think about what you just said.
Shush.
It has one of the most expensive natural
I meant in the
resources.
sense that he wouldn't have, like, you know, the basic kind of things like food.
Yeah, but it's current day. You can import everything.
But he would have to pay for all the imports.
Yeah, but I'm assuming if a dude makes his own country, he's got some money. And I doubt many people are living there.
He just walks up there with his own flag one day, just, I own this place now.
That's pretty much what he did. I forget what it... I don't even know... What do you have to do to say, I'm a country now?
I feel like this is a question for South Carolina. They are always the first to leave the country if something goes wrong.
Well, yes, but also... The one who is most likely to recede from the Union
And be
nowadays...
successful?
Oh, be successful? I have no clue. But the most likely to secede is definitely Texas.
Texas is the only thing with a Supreme Court in it.
Yeah, so Texas...
I think
Is that true?
that's correct.
I don't know. I just know
There's
Texas likes to think of itself as its own country.
There's something only Texas has compared to all of the other states that makes it so if it were to become its own country, it very well could.
I don't know.
It's something. I can tell
The
you
one that would
much.
make the most sense is Alaska.
Well, I mean,
Because I don't remember Alaska exists sometimes. I
I
also don't remember what I'm supposed
people
to be
could
doing
just
here.
take over Alaska and not many people actually. The government would notice because isn't that weird?
Yeah, the government would notice. There's also a lot of oil in Alaska.
Yeah,
isn't
no,
there?
that's why they would notice because the oil.
You know, there's a good amount of oil in Alaska. That's pretty much one of the reasons they still upkeep Alaska. Besides, you know, the people living there.
You know, there was a kid in my graduating class that family was from Alaska, right?
Yeah, I know people exist in Alaska.
No, but it was so weird seeing him just be like, yeah, my family's in Alaska, or lived in Alaska, we have a family photo. And he brought it the next day.
I mean, what's so weird about that? Family photos are pretty normal, Jared.
You could barely see them in the snow.
You know, that's fair. I don't know. What's, like, the average temperature in Alaska? Isn't it, like, always below freezing year-round?
Probably.
How can you live in that temperature?
I feel like their schooling is very different.
I believe it's a fact that in Alaska, because the school, like, system is so, like, small, because not many people live there, you get paid to homeschool your students. No, that's true. You get paid if you homeschool your students because it puts less stress on the schooling system.
Impressive.
And they don't have to, like, because people are so few and far between for Alaska, they don't have to send buses out there.
So what's like the largest city in Alaska? I feel like we're thinking too much about Alaska.
Why? It's a whole state, Jared. It deserves some thought. Do you think Alaska is one of the least thought about states? Or do you,
100%.
oh, but it could be just one of the Midwest ones. Because
Okay,
I can legitimately not name all
but
the Midwest
But
states.
the thing with all the Midwest states is that they're known for the fact that so many people make jokes about them not existing.
yeah,
Like
but
Wyoming?
boy, Wyoming sure exists.
That every time I want to say a state doesn't exist, my first thought is always Wyoming.
I don't know if I go Wyoming. Like, what does Dakota have?
North or south?
I forgot there's a North and South Dakota. That's how little I think about North and
I
South
thought you were
Dakota.
gonna say like Montana.
That's has the namesake of Hannah Montana. I feel like that's, like, so important. Is one of their biggest exports Hannah Montana, even though she isn't from there?
What about Utah?
But it starts with a U, and that's pretty impressive.
Utah?
Utah has something. I can't remember what it is, but it has something. I think South Dakota is one of the least thought about states. It has to be. Because Alaska, like, people think about all the time because, like, ow, because
how
because
many
it's the
mid-
biggest state, and on like every map it gets its own portion.
Okay, but how many states could Canada take before America notices?
0, Jared. People will still notice if states go missing.
I feel like if they were just kind of like, hey, we're just gonna walk into Michigan or something for a bit.
I think I don't think like it'd cause any outrage or anything, but like people would notice, especially the American citizens living there. Like, you may think about the state less, but I'm not remembering controls. But like, it still exists, and there's a lot of people living in them.
Now I'm just thinking of what we did to how we got Texas.
You mean just
We just walked in and acted like we owned it.
okay? I don't see this we you're talking about though.
The United States.
No, you're completely right. That is exactly what happened. No, Mexico was like, hey, can some of y'all move in here and start, like, tilling the land and
we
everything?
don't have enough citizens that want to live here.
Yeah, so it was like, can some Americans move in? And they were like, sure. And then Mexico started taxing them because they're living in Mexico. And the Texans went, hold on, wait. Is this taxes? Without representation? And then just went on a hissy fit and took over the entire state.
That just made me remember one of my middle school history teachers. He went on a whole rant about the 51st state is supposed to be Puerto Rico, I think.
It should be, even though
Yeah.
it isn't.
So I remember him going on like a whole rant for a straight day about just the fact that the only reason they won't become a state is they don't want to pay taxes. And he would not stop talking about it the entire time.
I mean, fair enough, but I'm pretty sure a lot of Puerto Rican citizens want to become, U.S. citizens, because then they can vote and
Yeah.
everything. Because right now, they're basically a state without the voting.
Didn't they also get hit by a hurricane and Trump just kind of went, oh, why should we help them?
Yeah. Why do you think they want to vote? Because it turns out, when a government rules over you and you don't have representation, the people living there don't tend to like that, as America should know.
Boy, we sure know about revolution.
Yeah. I'm surprised we haven't caused one yet. Okay, we have caused revolutions, just not, like, in our own country. Wait, yes, we have. The South.
I was really questioning where you were going with this.
Look, I forgot the whole Civil War existed.
Phineas and Ferb lasted longer than the,
Exactly. The entire runtime... Not the entire runtime. That would be impressive. The entire... What was it called? Like, the amount of time a series is on air. Because it's not runtime. Oh, I was just shooting my teammate.
Phineas and Ferb existed for 7 years, I know that much. I think it's just the amount of time they were continuing to make the show.
Yes. Because that was 7 years.
I don't know the proper term
and
for it.
Yeah, I don't either. But the Civil War was only 5.
The Confederate... What was it even called?
Confederacy.
The Confederacy only lasted 5. This is why the voice actor for Phineas, I think it was, said that we should just make Perry the Platypus statues.
I love that idea. Because also, as you're constructing it, you first make just... No, you don't make Perry the Platypus statues.
You make platypus statues.
You make platypus statues, and then people bring their own fedoras, and then they scream, Perry the Platypus! And then it's funny.
It just looks like a tribute kind of thing, just...
A tribute to
Just
Perry the Platypus.
Fedora's just towering, surrounding the platypus statue.
I love that idea, and also I completely forgot that this game had silencers.
Okay, however, that would turn into
Ow.
a cult very quickly about Perry the Platypus.
I don't see a problem with it.
He does have his own theme song.
He does. Because he's a semi-aquatic,
Egg-laying
egg-laying mammal of action. And he should be respected for the service he's done to this country.
I just find it funny that whenever he retires, he becomes best friends with Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
Because they were kind of already friends, just friends that sometimes punched each other. And aren't those the best type of friends?
Just, hey, you're being stupid.
I feel like... No, that probably wouldn't be good if that was generally accepted.
If
That
you
being
just-
generally accepted was just duels. And we all know how that ended for Alexander Hamilton. Also, we can cut the beginning.
Ah.
Or we could leave this in.
Yo,
or it
wait,
could
no,
be like
put it-
Mario and this
put it
becomes
in-
the intro.
Put it at the very end.
Why put it in at the very end? Like everything fades to black, the outro is done, and then just this starts playing.
Just the most awkward ending clip.
Alright. And that's where it cuts. Just me, I say alright, video ends, or it doesn't.